Welcome to PTU Barbell episode 12. Today we welcome a first degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and my coach, Dominik Debiec, owner of Mathouse BJJ Reading. Welcome Dom, and thank you for taking the time out of your day. We know you've just welcomed your son into the world, so we appreciate how busy you must be. So congratulations, how do you feel?
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I feel good. I feel well rested. My wife was looking after him last night, so it's all right. It's just a new addition to the family, and it's a bit challenging at the beginning, I would say. But as you get on, as you learn, what the little one wants, it becomes easier. And I think the real benefit of having a kid actually comes over later. But we're loving it. We were waiting for this for a while to actually move on to this stage in our lives. First was Mathouse, obviously, building up, wedding, things like that. Eventually, like, okay, this is the time. So it's not a COVID baby. It was planned way ahead. We had to postpone it a few times because of, as I said, building a Mathouse. Or my father passed away, and in Poland you have like a 1 year when you don't celebrate anything. So everything got moved on with wedding and stuff. But yeah, we're happy to have him here. He's healthy, he's loud, and keeps us awake.
So main question, does he prefer gi or nogi?
Nogi. I mean, like you just asked me, I haven't thought about it, but like, he doesn't like anything.
You're not putting him in the sleep.
He's throwing things off all the time off him, yeah. And his guard is like this all the time, so I guess it's going to be a Nogi guy.
Right, so for our listeners who may not know, what is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu?
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is a martial art that came from Brazil. Brazilians actually enhanced it to the ground level, brought it down, and put emphasis on basically grappling on the ground. It has aspects of judo, but most of it happens on the ground, and the goal is to submit your opponent, which means lock him in a submission hold or choke hold. And it was developed by a Gracie family, which obviously I'm a student of Roger Gracie, and they popularized it in a sport by putting their fighters into the UFC, which we all know these days. And from there, the whole world woke up like, okay, this is something useful to do in terms of martial arts. You don't have any MMA fighters these days not doing a jiu-jitsu at some level. So it's a grappling martial art that focuses on submission holds, not on strikings, not on kicks. Although the more self-defense aspects of it have some, but we just grapple really.
So as you've already mentioned, your coach was 10 times world champion Roger Gracie. Mm-hmm. For those who aren't too familiar with jiu-jitsu, that's like having Michael Jordan or Pele or someone like that coach you. What was that like, and how did that come about?
It's accident. Like how did that come about? It's completely accident. I didn't know who Roger is when I walked into the academy. I actually spoke to him. I had no idea who this lanky tall guy is, speaking soft voice. I told him like, yeah, this is advanced class. I'm good. I want to train here. Knowing nothing about jiu-jitsu, obviously. I was like in UK for 6 months, came from Poland to change my life a little bit, and I thought I'm gonna do this. It is a long story actually how I ended up in that academy, but I knew nothing about him, and throughout the years, as I was becoming kind of friends with him, because obviously as you go through the ranks, people come and go, but you stay, so you become friends. And I learned about Roger, like maybe 3 years in, I knew exactly, this guy is really fucking good, yeah? Can we swear actually?
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is really good, but he grew as I knew him, because he wasn't 10-time world champion when I started training with him. So it was quite natural. I never was starstruck by Roger, just because, before I knew he was, I already knew him. I was speaking to him, and we were hanging out. So end up there by accident. People are gonna hate me when I said that, but I used to train Krav Maga. And then when I came to UK, I said, I'm gonna do the Krav Maga course. And the Krav Maga course is supposed to take place in Roger Gracie Academy. My friends from Poland who train a little bit jiu-jitsu of YouTube, they say like, you have to try that. And it seems like, all right, there's a guys who say I have to try that, and I haven't been training for 6 months because I was working in Cornwall for 6 months before I came to London. So I said, all right, I'm just gonna go there, train some of that jiu-jitsu stuff, get ready for the course, and see if the course is actually from people who there worth doing it, because this course was quite an expensive course, and I didn't want to spend money on something useless. But obviously they're gonna know. So when I started training there, I found out the course is actually not gonna happen there. So I canceled the course, get my money back. And I was training for like 3 or so months, and then I just fell in love with it. But that was like complete accident. Like not many guys are gonna tell you black belts that Krav Maga brought them to Jiu-Jitsu. And that was basically my story.
Wow, I've done Krav Maga in the past, and so I went to London and I learnt it, and I thought it was really good teaching. I went to Basingstoke, and no offence to whoever was teaching at Basingstoke, not calling you out, but it didn't have the same.
I had a similar story.
Yeah, and I just completely was like, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, I had a similar story. I had a anti-terrorist police officer teaching us Krav Maga first time and it was like intensive course for like every weekend, 6 hours a day for like 2 months, and I just loved it. Yeah, because it's useful if you know what to do with it, and you hear from people who actually used it. Yeah, lots of weird stories from those guys. Yeah. But then I went to that regular class, and there's like ladies, they run in a circle, slapping each other. I'm like, all right, but we know that the mechanics are different, yeah?
Yeah.
And I couldn't, I imagine this is how they introduce people to it or something, but there was more like a commercial side of it, yeah? So I was hoping to get something better, which in London I should get, like the course supposed to go later you're supposed to go to Israel, I think, and things like that. So I was taking it serious, yeah? But once I found Jiu-Jitsu, like, all right, I know exactly what I want to do.
Next. So you mentioned that you did some other sports back in Poland before. Obviously, you came here and you found Jiu-Jitsu. So what sports was it that you did when you were younger?
I did judo when I was young. I was 10 to 13 years old when I was training that. My parents moved to the new area, and it was in the middle of primary school. My father thought like, all right, we need to give him some tools because there's going to be a fight going on, which they were. So he sent me to judo club, and I was training there for 3 years. And I loved it, but I was always like a stubborn and proud little man. Even that never changed probably. One day coaches sometimes say things to you to motivate you, to push you further. It's like, listen, don't slack off, train during holidays and things like that. He said something that stuck in my head, like, I'm not fucking training with you anymore. And I was 13. I went home and I said to my dad, I don't want to train. He didn't kick my butt to send me back to, which I regret later on, because I love judo. I literally loved it when I was doing it, but there was no other club, and I stopped training. And the next time I grabbed the gi was at the jiu-jitsu class in Roger Gracie, and I said, this is so familiar, this is so good. So maybe, that's why I like jiu-jitsu as well so much. And after that, I was like lifting weights with my boys just to, get stronger as a man, doing some kickboxing and boxing, but nothing was like lots of different sports, but nothing was like I pursue it, just like jiu-jitsu. So, who knows, maybe I'll be a judo competitor instead of jiu-jitsu competitor if I would stick to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone tells me that's your alternate story. Like that would be a big surprise for me.
And so your achievements. So obviously you got your black belt in 2014. So how long did it take you to get that? Is it 2006 you started? Did you say
2006 April? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So
8 years or so.
8 years.
Yeah.
And along the way you had some other successes with like purple belt, blue belt.
Yeah.
Any competitions stick in your mind that you found like that you particularly enjoyed, you particularly found hard, tough opponents?
You enjoy them when you do well.
Yeah.
It's maybe some people do, but I think everyone, including the top guys, when they say it's stressful, it's a stressful endeavor, and you challenge yourself. Nothing who doesn't stress you out is not a challenge. So we did, you want to know how good you are. If you have your time in your life, you want to compete, but it's never like, oh, I'm loving this. I actually hate Lisbon just because every time I was going there, I was losing until like 2012. So I literally hated that trip. So even for the year when I went to actually win it, I flew on Friday night and flew back on Sunday afternoon. I just didn't want to be there apart from Saturday when I compete, yeah? Which would be good because I won and I could party with the guys for another few days. But it's a stressful endeavor. But so favorite place, you go and you see nice places, which is cool, and you see people like-minded. They train jiu-jitsu with you. You exchange the ideas. But as you grow in a belt, I think as a white belt you should compete a bit more. And then blue, purple. The stakes, the tough tournaments were, at least back in the day, were happening a bit less frequently. So I guess when I was like purple and brown was like 4 or 5 tournaments a year. When I was blue and white was like 9, 8. So I was competing a lot at the beginning, and slowly then after I was picking like later on in the career, I was picking the better tournaments. Because you're not excited about, Bristol Open anymore. Yeah, You've done it many times. There may be 1 or 2 guys in your division if you're brown or black belt. But if you go to Europeans, you're gonna get the cream of the crop. So I think European stands out always, which is in Lisbon, but there was quite a few of them in UK as well, in Spain, in Poland, in Sweden. So I was traveling a little bit. That was my lifestyle for many years, just competing and training and working full time.
What I don't really know much about the belt systems in jiu-jitsu, but 8 years seems like a long time to me. So what is the? That's what I'm saying. So and tell everyone else because
Aaron did judo.
Yeah. So tell everyone else, like obviously, how do you get a black belt? Why does it take so long?
Yeah.
And like the ins and outs of that, because obviously someone listening to this might go, 8 years, well, I'll spend that long, I'll be a black belt in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So what's the process you go through to get that?
So I know how it all works in judo because I've done judo. So you have specific days when you grade and you have to show your techniques. And on the higher belts, I believe you have to go to tournaments, score points, which I think is good. Jiu-jitsu is a bit less informal. And that's a good and bad thing. The bad thing is you might get people who want to push people to get belts quicker, which obviously is not my case because we've been open for 6 years now, and there's like maybe purple belts really who started with me. Yeah, they're getting closer, but they're not even brown belts. We gave some belts, but the guys already came experienced, and so it's more due to there's lots of different factors you can evaluate someone. First of all, is obviously his physical attributes, his age, how much he commits to the training, is he competitor or not, which is a big thing. Because I believe you get, at least in my academy in London, you were held longer if you were a competitor. Because when you purple belt, for example, and someone says like, oh, you could be a brown belt. If they make you brown belt and they send you to the tournament, you get wrecked by the brown belts who've been doing this for 3 years already. Yeah. So the coaches usually try to hold you back. So they say like, oh, this guy can hang with the brown belts. So he doesn't get like discouraged from tournaments anymore. So when you're competitor, I found out later in jiu-jitsu, but actually they held you longer, which is okay because you like to compete. Yeah. Eventually, if you like jiu-jitsu, the belt will come. All you have to do is just show up. There's no magic and trick to it. And for example, if you compare 25-year-old stud and 50-year-old guy, okay, maybe they're not the same. But then that 50-year-old guy, he still competes. He goes to tournaments and kills everyone. And that 25-year-old guy who just got power on his side, he's not going to do well, yeah? So you have to judge that. And for example, if that 50-year-old guy runs out of competition in blue belts, all right, let's promote him because he wipes out the tournament, yeah? Or he wipes up everyone on the mat, his age and size. So it's down to the coach, and it's very I spend a lot of time when it comes to greens like, is he ready? Is he ready? Was he training enough? Because I don't want to give the belt to someone and he disappears, okay? I would rather him to be I would like to achieve that goal. Because when you achieve it and you already feel like you have that belt, it's a different story. There's okay, I got it now. Now I'm gonna do my thing in that belt. And that's how I felt. When I got my purple, it's I think I was in a tournament next week. Yeah, I didn't care. I was bored with blue belt tournaments. Yeah, and my coach held me longer. But once I got the next belt, I'm let's go. Same thing happened with the brown belt and a black belt as well. And that's a good thing to do. But not everyone competes as well. So then you have to.
Do you have to compete to get the belt?
No, you don't.
Just down to coaches?
On average, I think there's 3 to 5%. Even in big academies, people competing. So you might have a big academy and looks like they have lots of competitors, but it's going to be 20, 30 guys doing it regularly on a month-to-month basis. There are some people dabbing into it, going once or sometimes try just once in their life to see how it is. So it's not you're a coach of Olympic judo, for example, and you have a crop of athletes who just want to compete, and you have to motivate them and bring them up to the next level. Most of it, the people train for leisure. They train for social aspect. They train to get confident. Obviously, they get good at jiu-jitsu, but they don't train to compete. So the academy, the way it's run, is probably different than, for example, it's run judo club or some other, boxing, for example. Yeah, but you don't have to compete. You just have to show up, probably. And skills come with time. And there is no exam like in judo. You look at people running on the mat, or you grab sometimes students and roll with them. Oh, he's getting stronger. He's getting good. Yeah, I can feel that. Yeah. And then you evaluate, okay, I think he's ready for the next stripe or next belt. Obviously stripes, there's 4 stripes in between each belt, which when the stripes happening, the guy knows. So if you see the guy on a 4th stripe grinding the mat, he knows, he's going to get there, yeah? If you see the guy getting 4th stripe and cruising around, I'm just going to stay on a stripe for a bit longer. So that's that informal part of it. And if the coach now knows how to navigate, you make sure whoever gets to that higher level is basically higher level. You don't want to have your school when someone walks in and beats your purple belts without any resistance. You want to have the school when they come out, it's oh.
You want a badass school.
You want to have a student. I mean, there's still friendliness when they come, but you want to have a. You want to have someone when they comes your level is good. I have the guys coming out your white belts are good. I'm yeah, because they're not getting blue belt after 6 months. They've been held sometimes even 2 years. Depends how much they train. Yeah, it's down to training.
I think that's a good way to do it actually, because I think sometimes. Especially I see it in judo, a lot of people are doing, they're just doing the moves to pass the test.
Yeah.
Rather than actually being good at judo, they're just being good at the test.
Yeah.
Sort of with exams, you just practice for the test, don't you? Rather than actually.
And your opponent allows you to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So jiu-jitsu, you have to do it in front of me with the other students who they want to do it as well. So you see that battle and you see whose jiu-jitsu is working, who's not. And yeah, once you get a bigger amount of students, then you just have to spend a lot of time. I have sit with a clipboard all the time, just noting things, and maybe not. I want to see him more. I want to roll with him. I want to put that guy with him, like things like that. Yeah, and eventually they kind of come to the conclusion. Yeah. Sometimes we always laugh, like Lord of the Rings, Frodo when he rose to Mordor. I always have a joke for ongoing. I don't know if students know it, but I always say I just post that little boat, like guy rowing. Because you give the guy blue belt and he's Frodo. He's gone. He achieved the pinnacle of his jiu-jitsu and he's gone. That's probably.
I think you put a post.
I do it all the time.
Boat, and I said to Zach, I was like, "What's the rowing boat?"
Yeah, that's what it means. Because it means to be like he's going to another dimension. Yeah, he's going somewhere else. And if that's what he wanted, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, but I want him to be a good blue belt. I don't want him to be just blue belt and then whenever he goes somewhere else in the world, gets wrecked again. Yeah. It's just time, just like with lifting and everything else. It's just time you have to put in to get that awareness of the fight, I think.
The thing is, once you're a black belt, you've said that to me, that's just the beginning.
There is as many levels. People say black belt, and we get stripes, which is basically professor's degree. But as many as there's a color belts and in between, there's as many black belt levels, and I've seen them all because I've been training with Roger. So I know Roger was right on top, and you see there's a big array of black belts, and they are black belts all, yeah, but none of them are the same. There's a big discrepancies in skills and technical approach and competitiveness. I mean, you're gonna see that if you train, for example, in an academy like Roger's Academy, and eventually every big academy, because you're gonna see there's black belts and there's black belts, but these guys not in the same ballpark. That's what it is.
You say there's no substitute for time. So do you see that in the black belts as well? The ones that are still grinding, are they the ones that or is it? Do you think you almost acquire that skill set and they can relax a little bit, or do you still have to grind to go through that system?
With the black belt, it becomes difficult to get someone on your level to grind that, and you can train a lot with your students or some lower belts, but it becomes later to find people on your level.
Okay, yeah.
And you need a amount of them. It's not just one or two guys, yeah, because you need to go for different people, different styles. They have different techniques, different games. So you can with everything. I believe whatever you do in life a lot, eventually you get to that comfortable place where although you lift in maybe the same weight, you're not working as hard as you used to, because you get that base, And same with jiu-jitsu, it's like riding a bicycle. Maybe you didn't ride it for a year, you forgot it a little bit. But then you ride it, you know how to ride it, yeah? It's just easier because you've done it already. With jiu-jitsu, it's the same thing. And the good thing is to put yourself in a bad positions, maybe if you don't have access to training partners, so just put them on your back or, change them, make them fresh. There's lots of different things you can do. But at the end of the day, I think, if you want to get pushed to a new level with lifting or jiu-jitsu, you just have to grind a little bit harder. And some people settle at this level, some people settle at the higher level, and some people never settle. And you see that as well, yeah? It's just...
Are you settled?
No.
You didn't see it?
No. I've been preoccupied with jiu-jitsu club for a while, yeah. But I had a big goal. There's a big goal always written in my goal book, which I write every year, and it's to make sure you die as a world champion, and that's the one I haven't done. So the plan for that was to do it in 2020. Actually, the plan was to get married with my wife, go for a 2-3 week road trip in US, starting from Las Vegas where there's a world championship, so I can start my routine and go in there, because probably it's going to take more than one trip just to get the feel how it is. But it didn't happen. The COVID happened, so there was no honeymoon trip, there was no championship, nothing, yeah. But eventually, yeah, that's I just frame up all my medals to put in the academy, and there's one empty one, which is going to be for that. Unless it's going to be empty, maybe someone else is going to fill it up one day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, favourite memory? Do you have a favourite memory that you've had from opening Mathouse, or was it, achieving your black belt, or a particular competition?
Yeah, with jiu-jitsu, right? I started jiu-jitsu because I came from Poland, left all my friends, family behind. Literally had to create my own life. Your language is not great yet, so it's hard to get good connection with people all the time and start hanging out and having a good life. So when I started training jiu-jitsu, obviously I was doing what I like to do, but that created a life around it, because we were training, we were hanging out, we were going to tournaments, visiting different places. Felt like I have a normal life, and suddenly this became home. So there's a lot of great moments I have just because of jiu-jitsu. I sometimes scroll through my Facebook, and I'm so lucky. I'm just so lucky. Dumb things we did, great things we did, lost tournaments, we eating pancakes and things like that. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, but the most memorable one are probably your biggest wins. receiving black belt, which wasn't like kind of a very, very big surprise. So you kind of expect that, you know, when you're on that level and you see other people slowly getting there, like probably you're going to get graded this year or next year, you'll never know. But that's a great moment. But I think like winning double gold at Europeans, weight and absolute, after 5 years losing in a row, and literally quitting jiu-jitsu a few times because of that in my head for a day, because you think you're wasting your life. Like what I'm doing, like well, I'm training so hard and I get here and get wiped out, although somewhere else I was doing well. So getting that one done, take it off my list, like, all right, you know, I knew I was right. That's a good one. And then Roger mentions you in a Jiu-Jitsu Style magazine, like one of the guys who actually performed really well in a tournament, and seeing his face, because he didn't see me in absolute, because it happened later on in the day. So he saw me, I was starving the day before, eating like 2 pieces of broccoli and spoon of rice because I had to cut my weight even on the day of the tournament. So he knew how much I was cutting weight every time, especially that day. And the next day he sees me in a restaurant waiting for the plate, and he comes into the restaurant like, eat motherfucker. And he was like so happy because, yeah, it was a lot of years when I went there and just didn't go my way. And opening Mathouse as well, but that was very stressful, I must say, because I didn't know how you guys gonna see. Like that's never been done. I've never seen a place like that. I created on my own imagination and did it the way I thought is the best, but it was really stressful. Even for a few weeks, I wasn't sure that I did the great thing. I mean, I kind of felt it, but I was, because, oh my God, maybe they don't, maybe it's good, maybe it's not good, yeah. But then like a few weeks passed by, and then Roger came, I think a month or 2 later for the grand opening, and he actually stood on the mat and like, he said a few times like, I'm really impressed, this is really nice. And you don't get much of those talks from Gracie's if you don't know them. Same like with Mauricio, another memorable moment, like silly things that I'm going to tell you, like he messaged me after winning my double gold at the Europeans, that, you know, I made them proud, you did a great job, congratulations, sir, things like that, yeah. But if you say everyone congratulates to everyone. Now, if you win double, 1 gold somewhere, Mauricio is not going to congratulate you by a text message. If you tell him like I won gold, like good. Now, unless you undisputed, whatever they call it, yeah, that's why, like, because he's got his son Roger, like, can you do better than him? No, I didn't do as good as Roger, but on that day there was no guy in Europe that could do better than me, yeah. So when you get that text, like, I got goosebumps now, because Mauricio doesn't do those things. I got
goosebumps, bro. Yeah. You know, when you've been through, like, so I play like rugby or something, there's always that one coach you want to try and impress, and they say fucking nothing. Yeah. They just look at you and go, you like done the best, whatever you've done, the best try, and they just nod their head.
People don't.
And that's it. And that's the most you're going to get from them. And then when they do like open out to you, you're like, oh fuck, I did something all right here. Yeah. I must have done well.
Mauricio is like that, and I think because of his son, he's one of the great, the greatest jiu-jitsu player ever. And how can you impress this guy? You know, you're not going to impress him with silver medal from British Open. Like, don't even open your mouth. Unless it's double gold. I don't know if Europeans is a big tournament, and like you have to also put it in perspective. Like back in the days when I started competing, there was like 3 or 4 tournaments in UK and 1 in Europe, which was Europeans, nothing else. There was very little tournaments, so you get all the gorillas showing up. Yeah, so to get something there was hard.
All the what, sorry?
All the gorillas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now you have so many tournaments. You could compete like in the normal days. You could compete probably every week and get some tournaments and get win or maybe not, because not everyone shows up to the same tournament. Europeans is the one like most of people shows up. Worlds as well. Panams. Yeah, those are the big ones. Yeah. To get the major tournament like Europeans, like I think last time was like 5,000 people competing over there. To get that's, you know, I guess in Mauricio's eyes that was good. And I remember that text message like, oh, good. And I was walking to buy something because I just finished that tournament. I was walking to buy something, and I had like a little iPod shuffle. Back in the day they were doing it. Actually, they were great, like a tiny little thing with the music. Yeah, exactly. And I was walking, and you know, you listen to your songs all the time. When you run, when you go to academy, when you come back, you're just trying to put your mind into it. All the songs sounded different on that day. Again, goosebumps. Sounded completely I don't know what it is, but it just, the word changes, because we eventually, especially because it was so hard for me to accomplish. Like it would be like, if it would be first year, probably I wouldn't get that experience. But after that I was like, and then like all the songs suddenly have a different meaning to you, because before they motivate you, telling you can do it, now they tell you can do it, you did it, yeah. So those things, yeah. But Mathouse definitely one of them. That was probably the hardest thing, like apart from competing in thing that I did in my life. And seeing the coach being happy with it, and then all of you guys, you know, enjoying that place. But you know, when you did, I spent months on the floor over there, sometimes sleeping over there. I can
imagine. Yeah, I think none of us really realised. Only the guys that had actually seen the place and stuff. Like but when we walked in, it was just like, Yeah, I was happy with the old Mathouse,
Yeah.
but to take it to that new level, it was just like, wow, like blown away. And then it became like, we've actually got our own place to train. It's a purpose-built jiu-jitsu gym. So, congratulations on that. We had, we started from not a lot. We had one room, and we gradually built and built from there. And to see you do that as well, it was so good to see the before and after, and then have a great place to train from.
Yeah.
We can't wait to get back, really.
Yeah, the place is there. It's looking after it. It's getting polished as you guys come in. Although, we didn't use it much because it was just 4 months. But yeah.
Who's you said there's some big gorillas there. So who's the biggest gorillas in your age, and what countries are bringing it a lot of the times? Remember, I think Ben was saying in judo, a lot of the Romanians and Bulgarians are big fellas, quite strong, compared to obviously a lot of English competitors.
I don't think you can say that. I can tell what I had problems with. Always Scandinavians, they kind of find a way to beat me, because I was meeting them at the Europeans, and they are very competitive. They had good coaches from Brazil and all that, and it was just hard for me to beat them. Also Poland, I went to Poland a few times to compete. I got some gold, some silver, some bronze. These guys are different. But apparently, from what I found out later, because I told one of my Polish mates about it, I couldn't get anything in Poland, really that good. I mean, I got silver in Polish championships in black belts, which is, good, but not good enough for me. And I mentioned the names and dude, they all won many times, those Polish. I was just meeting the first round, the hardest guys, and that's what wasn't that easy for me to do.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think I'm a bit slow starter. So I get better with the tournament, which if you have a tournament of 5-6 fights, that helps. But if you have only 2-3, in the black belts level, you have less, you have to go hard straight away. And if you meet the hardest guy, you might not go your way. It's pros and cons. So I think Poland, Scandinavia, that was the hardest one, and the rest of them I could deal with.
And do you have a favorite fighter? Jiu-jitsu competitor now, or I know you like MMA. Do you have a favorite fighter that's got a solid jiu-jitsu base to their game?
So favorite fighter, jiu-jitsu fighter must be Roger.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch his I imagine myself when I fight that what would Roger do, and I do that because I've seen him so many times. Obviously, all the techniques he wanted to teach us, he showed us. So if I can apply it to my body, which some of them you can, because he has massive leverage, he's much longer than me. But if I can, that would probably his the way he dominated, the way he was calm, which is completely not my case comparing to him, the way he dominated his scene, that. That's the dream career, really. These days in MMA, for example, Damian Maia is probably one of the best grapplers in there. Obviously he didn't get a championship, but I think if you think about his credentials as a grappler and then doing that in MMA, he was pretty good. Gilbert Burns is good as well. There's few guys, and a lot of guys in MMA have no idea what they do about jiu-jitsu. Sorry, I have to say that they don't. They you look at it as this is blue belt level. Yeah, there's a levels to this game, and they just focus on striking so much, so they don't know.
I really like Gilbert Burns. I was gutted he didn't beat Usman.
Yeah,
but Usman was the better fighter at the end of the day.
He was. He had a good chance. He clipped him over there at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we'd be interested to see that fight a few times, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go that way.
And what would you say your inspiration is now? Obviously not being obviously you've said that your goal would be to fill that place that's missing in the medal, but your inspiration now, do you do it for your school? Do you do it for you, your family?
For now it has to be school. I was hoping by this time the school can run without me for a few weeks, so I can take off for the tournament, far away like this, or I can tell other instructors to start teaching a bit more classes so I can focus on my own training. Because if you don't know, probably in other sports as well, which I never dived into it that deep, but being jiu-jitsu competitor, it's a very selfish thing to do. You have to focus on yourself a lot, which you don't have time if you have family and building up the club and trying to talk to every students and guide them through it. So I was hoping that the club's going to get to the place when I can actually take the back seat for a moment, maybe go to London to train with my friends when you bring them here, maybe schedule my training around the good guys in Reading. But that's got postponed, so that has to wait a little bit, because I think it would have to be a little bit more about me again. Right now it's about, growing that baby. We just make a huge investment and open the great place. And I want to make it grow to the level that actually I can, guys can teach, and I can maybe focus on once a year to go into the good tournament and have some me time, that just, allows me to train properly.
And your training, what does your physical training look like at the moment?
Mm-hmm. At the moment, I actually switched it up from end of the last year. I started doing kettlebells. For many, many years, I was lifting weights when I was younger, as I told you. Then I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I literally didn't lift weights till 2013. Did nothing. I was just running and doing jiu-jitsu. And unfortunately, if you do a lot of something, it catches up with you. And I got a bad injury, my leg injury, the year after I won the double gold. I got silver still, but without one leg, you can't do more than that. And that forced me to start back training and getting that, I call it an armor back, like your muscles firing the right way. Because you always compromise, like you're sitting on the mat, hunched over, or you're in a way advanced position. And after years of mat time, that's going to catch up with you. So I started doing that, but because I was doing weights as well when I was younger, I think with everything you get to the certain stage, and then you're not going to surpass it unless you do something different. And that's what kettlebells do now. I'm literally attacking my body from a completely different angle. There's a lot of posterior chain moves, work over there, which in a gym is not much easy to skip because you sit, because you lie and things like that. Kettlebell is all on the feet, all on the grips. And I find it really beneficial, at least for me now, because I was never a weak guy in jiu-jitsu, so I didn't have to I have to get stronger. Actually, I was too heavy and too big for what I was doing. I had to cut weight a lot. But right now, also from the perspective point of view that, I'm busy with the club, I'm busy with my family, you can do a lot of work with kettlebells in half an hour if you know what you're doing. The programs we're following now is you can get wrecked in half an hour, stretch, cool down, and go home. And that works for me. Once we go back to normal training, probably there's going to be 2 more jiu-jitsu sessions. There's going to be 1 running session as well. But I think I'm going to stick with it for a while. And this is not the recipe for everyone. It's just for me. I've done regular lifting for a while, and I think I got to the level you just do something that you know, but it doesn't bring as much benefits as something more difficult than you to your body. That's what I'm thinking.
You also do the ice baths, don't you?
I do a cold shower every day.
This guy's been doing it for how long?
I've done it a long time, on and off, but the last couple of weeks I have a client that tries to beat me in the shower. So I went up to 12 minutes last week. But I tried to do the bath, but this wasn't big enough, so I couldn't get myself in it. I just felt like my legs were burning. I couldn't fully submerge to get that feeling, but I loved it. Yeah. I couldn't even get in, but I love the showers, man. I think you just feel so invigorated after. And I definitely feel you're more mentally aware, your muscles feel good. I don't know, there's something weird to it. I'm not sure what it is. But even if most days I do 30 seconds to a minute. Sometimes I go a bit longer. Sometimes if this guy's pushing me, I've got this. Yeah. I always set the time and he always beats me, so it's kind of fun. But
I've tried first time when I went to Poland. I got a very good friend of mine. I call him a brother, but we basically identical in interests and stuff. We always been doing sports and stuff like that. And he took me to the lake, and we go into the lake for 5 minutes. You see ice on the lake, yeah. And I was like, holy shit, that was good, yeah. So then I was doing that in Poland, but then I started doing here in Reading Lake Hotel Lake. I found a quiet spot where nobody sees you, because apparently you can't do it. And I just went into the water there a few times. This year as well, did it a few times after running. That's good, but and I was doing cold showers before, but in the house that I live now, I don't know where the water comes from, but I'm laughing it comes from Mordor. Please measure how cold your water is in the shower, yeah? I'm gonna measure mine.
It's about 9 degrees.
It's fucking ridiculous. It hurts after, I can take a lot. I've been in a frozen river for 3 minutes, yeah? Flowing frozen river. That shower kills me after a minute. Yeah, I'm standing, literally, I come out and I say to my missus 5 times for the next hours, fuck this shower. Every morning is the same. The coldest shower I've ever been. And I want to measure the temperature because I think it's maybe somewhere deep from the ground or something.
Yeah.
Super cold, yeah? Literally 1 minute and I'm aching and I come out and I feel it for an hour.
I know you feel. I did it at my missus' parents' house when we stayed over there once. I got out of the shower, I was in there for 30 seconds there. Where the fuck did your water come from?
Yeah.
Because at mine, it's about 9 degrees. I tested it a little from.
Do you have an electric shower?
Yeah, electric. I turn it right now.
I think that's what changes it.
You think it must come through the electric or something?
It goes through that whole system, for some reason. The other one I have, it's the water is heated through a oil boiler, which means when you open cold, it just goes cold from main.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
Different story. I believe people were doing that for many millennia before. There was no hot water until 100 years ago or whatever, yeah? Unless you were some prints, yeah. So your body is probably like there's benefits for your body to do that, and you get those all those Vikings, like, and they were swimming in those frozen rivers all the time.
And I didn't believe it at first, but if you do it for 10 days straight, your resting heart rate goes down.
Yeah,
literally, I went down at 5 beats a minute.
I haven't tested that, but like apparently your testosterone goes up, natural production of testosterone goes up, inflammation goes down.
Yeah.
The best coffee you can have in the morning is just that cold shower. I mean, it wakes you up like no coffee. Like you go like this, you leave the bathroom like a new man. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits.
And the Wim Hof is his favourite saying. I've probably said on loads of podcasts is "breathe, motherfucker."
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised that actually just breathing, you center yourself and you're overcoming yourself. Just in that, every morning you've ticked a goal off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, actually, I've overcome that. I've breathed. I feel way better.
Yeah.
I'm focused. And you're trying to get out of the shower, and it's like, right, let's go.
Yeah, I don't even think about, because I'm always too sleepy. I don't think, but eventually I'm looking at this knob. You have to turn it up. It's like, and he says breathe. Yeah, what I would say to people when they do those, or even in a tournaments and stuff like that, breathe. When I say breathe, you think about inhale or exhale.
Inhale.
I just feel like
you see, and that's the problem.
I just feel like how to breathe.
When you open that cold shower, when you open it, just exhale as much as you can, and you're gonna see how calmer you're gonna approach that wave. Same thing with fighting, for example. When people fight, like breathe. What they do, they take more air and they get hyperventilated. All that is inside, no, exhale, because your body knows how to take the breath in. This is just natural, and people don't think about it. But breathe, I think people assume it's inhaling. I think if you exhale, you get much more benefit.
See, I do his 40 breaths, 40 quick breaths, big inhales.
Oh yeah, he's got
hold, and then after that I do the box breathing, which like what the SAS uses. 2 seconds out, 2 seconds hold, 2 seconds in, 2 seconds hold, and actually be surprised at how quickly that warms you up.
It's a Wim Hof method, right? I haven't done that one. I've heard about it, so that's a different one. But obviously you're thinking about your breathing. But I just try to breathe like as calmly as possible. Breathe, but it aches. Even if it's not. I'm not talking cold. I'm telling ache. Like have you like
fire, like burns? Like
once when I went with my best friend, we went to Poland and we couldn't get through the lake because it was frozen. We thought there's been people swimming that day, but no one was. It's like, listen, I know one more spot. Through the forest, 15 minutes, like snowy forest. We park and there's like, I got a video somewhere, and there's like frozen river flowing in the middle. It's like, this is where we're gonna do it. I'm like, shit. If he said, like, should I leave the car on? It's like, if someone takes our car, we dead. We're not gonna make it home. And we did like 3 minutes, but that was the coldest one because the water flows. Same like with the shower. The other thing about my shower, I think, is it lets a lot of water out. Some showers don't. And it's just much more water than normally you would get on your body. That's why it cools me down. But it's great. I people don't want to do it, but it's like the simplest thing, simplest challenge in first thing in the day you can do.
I always think if you want to feel that invigoration, that sort of like, that thing where you just don't think about anything for like, it's like meditation, I find. Anything for 30 seconds, put the cold shower on and see how you feel, and get out and then.
Well, you nearly die. Your body is so happy after, like euphoric, because your body's like, when that happens, basically what happens when you go to the cold lake, you warm up, you do the jogging and stuff like that. Then you go and all the blood from outside of your skin draws into your body because it's so cold to protect the organs. So when you come out, if you've done it in a lake, when you come out, you feel like you have a sacs of fluid underneath your skin floating somewhere. That's basically blood rushing back to your skin. And your body is so euphoric. Just because you nearly died, so it wants to be happy. Like, all right, we survived this, and that's what you feel when you do like cold showers.
The nearest I've got to that is having a hangover, surfing, and just going head first into the sea and just being like, "Whoa, now I'm awake." Now
if you do cold showers, they'll give you another strap.
Showers are must.
Right. So, if you could describe a perfect jiu-jitsu competitor, would you say Roger, or are there elements of other fighters you would put in? And would it be like a gorilla grip strength, a certain posture, a certain body shape? What elements would you say if you could create the perfect jiu-jitsu competitor?
I think I'm going to sound cliche, but jiu-jitsu is for everyone. And whatever attributes you have, you're going to make, like, this is the beautiful thing about it, you're going to make them work for you. Like, I came stronger. Like, I was fighting middleweight, but I was middleweight only half an hour on a day of weigh-ins, no more than that. So I was coming stronger to the tournaments. So I had strength on my side, maybe a bit of weight, power, explosiveness, but I had to work against guys who were maybe slender, more technical, and they work that. So if you come and you have no physical attributes, you're going to work on your technique, and that's going to take you way further than you suddenly, I want to learn jiu-jitsu, I'm going to start lifting weights. That doesn't work like that. So all people who they got something, Roger had some attributes, another guy, obviously the perfect blend would be the nice one, yeah? And I think that's what it is. Eventually when you get to that higher level, like black belt, you need to blend it nicely what you have. So I had to calm down with my power, with my strength, with my aggressiveness and all that, and get into that technical aspect, and eventually because I'm not the strongest guy, but I'm fairly strong for them. I'm not the most explosive, the fastest, the grip probably has got someone better, yeah? But I also have that technique. When you blend it all together, it creates a nice combination of difficulties for the other guy. But if you stick with one, you're going to see those guys like purple belt, they start falling off. They just cannot hang unless all right, I'm just going to take it easy and learn technique, and then you're going to blend it. So I think that's what it is. And eventually someone's going to be in the middle. Even the most stronger guy is going to become technical. Even the most technical guys, you're going to see like, okay, I'm going to take 6 months break, build up a bit of my strength, my posterior chain, my legs, my grips, so I can hang with the stronger guys. And then you have a perfect...
Just for everyone on the podcast, your hands are bloody huge.
Yeah, I got long. I should play piano.
Yeah, man. Look, you're gonna be holding.
I got skinny fingers, but they hold.
Yeah,
trust me. I can hold
and
people.
his feet look exactly the same.
I got massive long toes as well.
Yeah, some good hands. You can hold on to a lot of them.
Maybe I was made for this. I don't know.
Yeah.
So nutrition, do you watch, obviously you said you had to make weight, so you would obviously weight cut for that. And then afterwards you would pretty much eat what you want to make weight, to recover from making weight. Do you watch what you eat now? Do you know it's not something that's so important to you? If you were to do your competition again, what kind of eating strategies would you follow?
Yeah, so back in the day, you don't know what you're doing, obviously. You try and you learn. And I think like my diet slowly changed with the way I was going through jiu-jitsu, slowly start doing a bit smarter things. But cutting weight is never great for your body unless you do it like really, really slow over long periods of time. Eat basic foods like, fruits, vegetables, meat, not too much. I'm into fasting these days. I like fast a lot. I'm the guy who actually can hang without food for a long time with no problem. I can even go for a run, like 10K, no food in my stomach after the day before. I'm going to be fine. I don't think that's good for my body later on to recover from the run, but I don't suffer from being on empty stomach. I always competed on empty stomach because that's just energy that's taken out of you because you have to process food. So as I was going through jiu-jitsu, I was like learning, okay, this is good for me, this is not good for me. I was taking basic vitamins and trying to cut probably on carbs and those bad fats. That's what I would say, yeah. And if you eat too much, obviously you're not going to lose weight. But the problem is people think like when you want to cut weight, they work more and they actually get so tired. Like I think cutting food is much easier strategy to cut weight than actually working hard and running longer because you cannot do as much. And these days I'm more into fast, because I started doing those kettlebells and we don't have so many activities in the club yet. I can eat just once a day, and that's what I'm doing. So I literally sit down for like nice meal with nice dessert, which is kind of healthy, some fruits and stuff like that design, and I just munch on it for an hour, watching some YouTube. And then I pass out probably for an hour or hour and a half, which is, I think people should plan on that if they really want to live healthy. And then the next meal I'm going to have is like when I finish here, I'm just going to go somewhere and eat something. So that's what I do. But not everyone likes fasting. Some people like to eat all the time. They got different metabolism. So you have to find your own way. There's many ways. I don't think there's one.
Yeah, I pretty much fast between meals.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't look like you're fasting. Yeah, I found the fasting is the easiest way for me to feel great and lose that excess weight.
And I think you're well focused on it as well. Like in the morning, if I don't eat or I just have a coffee, I feel my focus is way better.
Yeah, I can do much more of my product, like all the difficult stuff you have to do, like whatever emails, applications or whatever you have to do. The morning is always the easiest for me because I'm on empty stomach and I can grind through them. Once I hit the first meal, then it's a few hours before I can get that. Unless I have something lined up like meeting, training, obviously I'm going to do it. But if there's nothing scheduled, I'm not going to have the strong will to actually, I'm just going to grind today, yeah? But on an empty stomach in the morning is easy. And I can go on till like 4 o'clock if I want to, yeah? The problem with that is like if you want to eat once a day or like within 6 hours window, plan your meals well, because if you don't have enough good stuff in there, then you're going to snack later because you're just going to be hungry. But if you make sure there's enough goodness in that short window of eating, you should be fine. Yeah, unless you don't like fasting at all.
What weight do you fight at and what you weigh at?
I was fighting at middleweight, which is 82 kilograms in the gi, which means...
what are you at the moment?
I'm 89 at the moment.
Yeah, you're big 89.
Yeah, but I was never like walking.
I was like, what? You got some good size for 89.
Yeah,
To 87,
I was never walking around 80 because you have to be 80 to put the gi on and fight. So many like the tournaments I was telling you about, I showed up and I'm still 2 kgs over. So you put the plastic bags on, gi, and you run and sit for an hour, and then I lost like 3 kgs. I'm like, all right, I can have a banana, water, let's go fight, and that's basically the story. Yeah, but after 2 fights, my weight is obviously up. Yeah, it's just buy yourself some advantage, you know, because I'm not the tallest guy for that weight division. So if I go the weight division above, everyone is way taller, and like if they get you like in spider guard, you know what I mean? Like they stretch you out so far, the leverage is they just got better leverage. So it was easier for me to do that. If I would have to do it these days, probably I'll go middle heavy. I would count on my, you know, skills and experience and preparation and all that, and like know how to deal with those tall guys and all that, just because I don't want to put my body through that, you know.
So that would be 88, would it?
88, yeah. 88 with a gi, which means you have to walk around 85, 84 to be confident, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the healthiest weight for me if I would have like below 10% body fat, just around 10%, which is healthy.
I think my when I did that comp, I made the mistake of I was in between, and I entered last minute, like the week before, and I was like, well, I am under the 88, but I don't think I can make the 80, and then 2, and then I had a bad stomach that week, and I weighed in, and the guy was like, oh, you're in the 88 category, but you're running a bit light. And I found that. I just found like everyone was a lot taller than me. So they were stretching.
Yeah, so for the guys like your size, probably 88 as well. It's an interesting division because like you're going to find a lot of 88 and 82 guys winning absolutes as well. Because we're fairly strong. Like the heavy guy is going to be stronger, but not that much stronger. But at the same time, we agile, fast. The cardio is much better because we're lighter. So like when you watch tournaments, usually those guys like they don't win all the time, but they do pretty well because there's a nice blend of, you know, fitness, strength, and also ability to move, you know, in those divisions. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it's good to cut because I got some success in the middleweight, but also like once I went to Poland after the tournament, one of the last one, I think British Open, when I won the brown belts, and I sat down on a dentist chair, and my dentist looked at me and was like, Dominik, what happened? Did you been sick? Have you been sick lately? I'm like, no, I'm feeling great. I'm just like 2 weeks after tournament, still ripped. Yeah, it's like, have you been on a diet or something? Like, yeah, I was cutting weight for the tournament, which was probably one of the last times I did it. So it was like kind of, I didn't feel like exhausted and stuff. And he's like, stop doing it because your gums are lowering. I'm like, oh yeah.
Wow.
And that was just a few weeks of getting my diet down so I can shred that fat off.
So the gums receded?
Yeah, gums receding down. And then they say like once they recede a little bit, like probably you're not going to get it back.
Wow.
So you have to think about that.
I didn't know that, did you?
Yeah. I guess I was going hardcore.
Yeah.
I think like if you tell me, let's bet, Dominik, can you make 100 kgs next month? I will do it easy. But if you bet with me to do it 80, I'll probably do it. That's going to be hard. Like, I'm the guy who gains weight nicely, easy. You know, like if I will lift weights, I feel like getting bulky straight away. Probably because I did it when I was like younger. Like your body is probably programmed for what you did when you were like very young. I believe that. And although I've done jiu-jitsu so much, the primary thing was probably just lifting weights. So that feels familiar for your body.
Yeah. Wow. And I'm guessing you're saying the World Championship. That's going to be in gi. Have you ever done Nogi competitions?
I think I might do it in both.
Yeah.
Just to increase your chances.
Which do you prefer?
I love both now. You know, like it was weird because when I got my brown belt, I was already signed up for the Europeans. And from brown belts, you get leg locks, all the leg locks showing up in that game. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, great, that's next month. And I know just basic foot lock. And there's going to be everything going on with the whole game, like 50% of your body you didn't, you know, check out. So I said, thanks, coach. Yeah, you could do it after Europeans, but actually it paid off. But, you know, especially when I opened the club and even before, like, all right, I'm a black belt, I have to know that stuff. Some people like to just stick to one thing, like, oh, I just do gi, you know, and that's where they fit. Some people like to just Nogi and they're scared to put the jacket on. Some people like to do just more like the self-defense stuff or MMA. I think like if I like jiu-jitsu, I have to like everything of it, especially when I'm instructor. I cannot tell you like I don't like this, yeah. And I know good guys who actually don't like this or that one, which is absolutely fine. This is what they prefer. I started doing leg locks just because I said I don't want to suck at it. I don't want to be surprised by someone who's not on my level just because he practiced one move a bit longer, yeah. And I love it. I just love it. I just think it's great. I went down to seminars with good guys and keep doing it in a club, and like I'm loving this part of the game. So you're gonna see me on Friday night doing Nogi like madman. And because we have our own place, what happens, the class is for 1 hour, but if I train, the class is sometimes 2 hours. I don't care. We just stay and we grapple until everyone's dead, yeah?
Don't make plans for Friday.
Yeah.
It's like, how long are we running for? Because if you make plans, like, you're going to want to stay.
Yeah. All you have to ask
you don't want to be that person who's going to walk out early. So don't make plans on a Friday
so
night.
if you ask me, do you train? You're going to know how long you're going to
around
stay.
with naked men.
Sweaty naked men, yeah. And I love the gi as well. Like, for example, later in life, I think you're going to be able to do more gi than no gi because you slow things down. You have the grips to control that crazy white belt and stuff like that, yeah. So you cannot forget about it, yeah. You cannot forget about lapels and stuff. We walk in clothes, would be useful if it happens something on the street. I love both. I'm probably better in still in a gi because most of my life I competed in a gi, but you're not gonna see me shine from no gi. I love it.
And it's cool having like the different people come down that teach us.
Yeah. That's what we want to do.
People, like people like Jake Shields and stuff.
Yeah, Ross Nichols, and he's gonna come down more often. He just opened his school in London and like. Yeah, we're
gonna the elements of wrestling still. You still gonna do judo and stuff.
Judo. Dean's gonna do wrestling. Like, we just got stopped in like one of the greatest moments of jiu-jitsu in Reading, but like we're not going back. As soon as they allow us to do it, we're gonna be full on.
Supplements. Do you take any supplements to help you with your training? Was that something you used to take and not so much now? Or?
No, like maybe I took like whey protein, and I still take it sometimes when I feel like I could use a little bit of a. Maybe I didn't have enough protein throughout the day and I was training hard but I don't want to eat, like I don't want to have a full meal because I can skip on that. I'm just going to have a protein shake. I used to take creatine, but I don't know if it was more for like reading about it that is good for you as an athlete. You cannot take it before the tournaments because you keep the water and you want to lose some water as well. So, but I don't know if it worked on me, and just vitamins, omega-3 and regular stuff.
And let us into the Brazilian secret food, ake.
Açaí, yeah. Açaí.
What's behind that? Is it just antioxidants? Is it just...
It's just
a Brazilian secret?
It's just blueberry sorbet.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
It's apparently it's a superfood. It's got some... Dude, I'm pretty sure people don't eat it because it's super healthy, because kale is healthy as well, yeah?
Yeah.
But you don't see people munching on kale all the time, yeah? It's just the tasty stuff. It's just a tasty berry that's got apparently lots of antioxidants and gives you energy and this and that. But it's like part of Brazilian culture and jiu-jitsu culture. Every tournament you go, you have acai stand and you buy it from... And when you're exhausted after fight, it tastes amazing. You have some granola on it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to make you great in jiu-jitsu.
No, I was thinking, is this like some secret superfood that no one's told me?
I'm going to get rid of it in my freezer.
It's just delicious. That's what I think it is.
Mental strength. Is there any... You've obviously done competitions and you've had times where you've had droughts of success, for instance. What got you through that? You said you quit and then you come back and then you quit, you come back.
I quit for one day. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
What mental strategies would you use? Do you use anything before you would go into a competition to motivate you, to keep you focused? Are there any key words or anything like that you mental rehearsal, that type of thing?
It's I think it's a combination of things you need to have. Like, as I told you before, I was always a proud proud little man, stubborn one.
How tall are you, by the way?
Sorry?
How tall are you?
Tall, 5'10", almost, like 177.
You're not that short. Average height in England.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But like,
I was just a bit confused when you keep saying that. I was like, you're not actually that short though.
Yeah, we're talking about weight division. So for weight, 88 people are way taller than me.
Are they like 6'1",
6'2"? Yeah. And so that probably helps if you're stubborn, if you want to prove to yourself and others that I can do it. But usually it was for me. I didn't care. Like, I didn't have like a big following that like I just was doing it for myself. Can I be that champion? Can I win this tournament? Can I be better than guys in this region? So that helps, that stubbornness. But you can be as stubborn as you want if you don't put the homework in, if you don't work on your physical strength, technical strength, tactics, and also like prepping your mind for it, how you're going to react on that, because there's a lot of stress going on into those things. That's why most people don't like it. You're not going to get there, because just that stubbornness is not going to get you there. You have to have skills and strength and physical preparation to back it up. Like, for example, when we did last summer those conditioning workouts in the park, which is basically what I did for my tournaments when I was preparing. And I tell the guys, this is not about just to push hard and all that. You get so exhausted with just moving your body, no weights, nobody else, that nobody else will get you that tired when you fight. And that alone creates that situation when you fight and you get so gassed out in your time, it's like, oh, my legs are numb, but not that numb like on a field. and you can carry on. So that's the preparation. You're mentally tough, but you prepared yourself for that situation before. Losing helps as well because it motivates me.
Yeah.
It helps to prepare you for this because you're motivated. Like, okay, I lost that one. I lost 3, 4, 5 times in a row. Dude, you come in hard for the next one. It's like, no, I don't care. And eventually you get to the stage where you're confident, and then you look for the next challenge. So I think it's a combination of things. You might listen to like a motivational video, but if you don't do others, it's not going to get you anywhere. Yeah. So mental strength, I think, comes from lots of different places. And you say, oh, this guy's mentally strong. I'm pretty sure he did more things than just watching videos. He prepared himself. His whole life was evolving around that one goal. Like, I want to win the world championships or whatever. And he prepared physically and otherwise.
I like that. That's good. I think that's the nice thing about martial arts as well. It's actually the skill set is just as important as the strength. It's just as important as the mindset. It's just as important as the diet. So I remember, like, especially when I was doing judo, I was playing rugby at the same time, and I thought I was quite strong. But even like the weakest guys were just kicking my ass because my technique was rubbish.
So you get to that level, and then you have to either stop competing on training, or like, okay, I always look at people when they do something good, and I'm not envy them. I was like, it's possible. How do they do it? How do they build that club? How do they build that business? How did like everything?
How do you kick my ass?
Exactly. And if you get inspired by other people doing great things, you're gonna draw from it, And like, okay, this guy is technical, but he's not weak either, Or this guy is strong, but he learned technique and he's doing well. And then you find your perfect blend, like I told you. But mental strength, like, I don't think you can be mentally strong in the fight, because we're talking about martial arts now, in the fight without doing preparation. Like that, you see a lot of that on, they call it all stars. So like the guys are super strong until they get punched because there's nothing to back it up. You have to have that, and the more you spend time on the mat, the better you get at it. That's just the thing.
Obviously, it's a good self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
You have open sessions where you have people come and try it for the new intake of people, and you've had women-only sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend it as something for a lady to learn? We've got girls that obviously...
if you it might be like, listen, I had the guys who like 6 months after training, they told me, I'm still not comfortable with people, sitting on top of me and holding me down. It's like some people are not used to it. Maybe because I did judo when I was younger, it was natural for me. You might get people, they're not so used to be close to others. And that's why those classes are better. And imagine that being a lady, Just go to ladies class. There's going to be a lady instructor, which we have, and she's going to teach you stuff, and you're going to train just with the ladies. And some of them are like youngsters, so you can see how youngsters can be good because they're like 13 years old, but they're kicking butt. And I think that's the better way if you cannot come to the regular class. Eventually, if you like it, I don't think it's going to matter to you. You're just going to see object, 2 hands, 2 legs, how I deal with this problem and solve it. That's what's going to happen.
Cool.
Is that how you think? Yeah. Object and solve.
Well, we're the same, He can, I'm not stronger than him. I'm not faster than him. Like if we measured it, maybe a little bit there and here and there, but like we're gonna be kind of similar size, So what's gonna be like? How do I solve this problem? And in Jiu-Jitsu is a lot about, because you practice so long, you see same situation happening again. And like, for example, I process this in bulk. Like the white belt has to think about it. He stops for a second or two and thinks about it. I see it as a bulk of movements already, which I don't. My brain actually doesn't. There's no. I don't have to waste my brain capacity for that because I know what's going to happen because it's done it 1,000 times to me or maybe more. And I just move on to the other thing which requires a little bit more of my attention. So that's easier, but it only because of the training, because of the mat time. And white belts, he has to stop and think, if he goes the hand there, he's going to take my back and I'm already there. And it goes like that. But then as you learn it, it becomes easier to defend it because you've been there many times. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. That's my favourite pastime is rolling around with men anyway, so
yeah.
I might have to sign up to this one.
It's fun. Like, there's a reason why people do it, and I think a lot of it is the social aspect. Like I told you, that was for me as well. You get bonded with people, like, there's no... I came from Poland, and I've been training with rich people, successful people, unsuccessful people. We all on the mat the same. We just wear the gi, and you have lots of different people, like... I'm not going to name the names because probably they only be at Bad Rogers Place. There's lots of some famous people training as well. They're all the same, which gave me that idea. It's like, all right, they're all the same. They just been born in a better part of the world. We can do the same things, and that's my attitude basically to it. It's like, all right, I can achieve whatever I want.
It feels good when you put them to sleep.
Yeah,
They all snore the same.
Yeah.
yeah. And usually I don't. Usually they tap on time.
Have you ever been put to sleep by like you say you're a bit
Like
stubborn?
properly,
Like stubborn.
like once. Yeah, it was the year that choke came out, which nobody really knew back then, and many people fell for it, including me.
You're just stubborn, like.
Yeah, that was the year I wanted to quit jiu-jitsu for sure for like half an hour. Like, fuck this shit, you know.
Is it bad that I've snored twice?
Stubborn.
I-
Stubborn little man.
Snoring is better than freaking out because some
Yeah.
people they like shake and stuff and depend because imagine like the brain is working and suddenly the supply to the brain gets cut off, yeah, and whatever what is cut off you get like a jolted with electricity. You never know, you might have a great dream, and I had that before. Like I put someone asleep and he woke up and he was happy. I'm like, what happened? Are you okay? I had such an amazing dream. And I'm like, mate, are you sure? Are you okay? He's like, no, he didn't want to train. He sat down by the side of the mat and he had like, I'm pretty sure he had an amazing dream, and he was out maybe for 3 seconds. But then other person's going to start, convulsing and things like that, which is not nice to see, and you're going to see that sometimes in a tournament. It's all random. I don't think it's how people react is random to it.
Both times for me I was like, right, I'm in a position, it's getting tighter, I've got to be careful. And then I woke up and like Ben, shout out to Ben, was like, are you alright? And I was like, why don't you tap? I was like, I didn't think I needed to.
Yeah.
And then the next time, shout out to Max, because he'll love this. Max did it, and I come around, I was like, well done, you got me. And then the next person, and I was feeling a little bit like, ugh. The next person to say, do you want to roll, was Christian. And I was like, out of everyone in this room, I probably don't want to fight with you next. But we did it, and it was fine, I survived. It was only a short round.
Yeah, so mine was different. Like you asked me about, I didn't actually went away completely. It was a baseball bat choke when the guys put you on the back. I taught you that, guys. But that year, like, I felt bad for myself, and then I sat down above on a platforms to watch the rest of the fights, because we stuck there for the rest of the weekend. And there's people passing left and right, not just me. Because you go to the back, you end up on the guy's back, you put in hooks in, seatbelt on, and the guy's got choke around your neck and you pass out. So what I had, I was on the back and suddenly the guy is leaving, and I'm lying on the mat, yeah? I'm holding his back, yeah? And the guy is leaving. I'm like, where the fuck is he going, yeah? And then the ref comes over and he lifts my legs. I see everything because I didn't like black out, yeah? My body wasn't working, obviously I was limp, I imagine, yeah? He lifts my leg, he shakes me up, I wake up. Oh, that was a bad day in office. Bad day. But then,
so he was shaking you weren't shaking him?
yeah, so they use the trick. Basically the guard is the legs. I was passing his guard and he grabbed the grips on the lapel, which I didn't know about this choke. So to fall for something you don't know is a little bit easier. Anyway, after a few weeks it becomes easier. So as I thought I'm doing well, I passed to his guard, he grabbed the choke. And then he turns belly down, so I start going for his back and I'm taking his back, neglecting the fact that he's got that grips around my neck. And again, we didn't know about it. So I go to the great position in jiu-jitsu, but I forgot that there's like this around my neck. And it's weird because I see like he walks away, he's like, where is he going? I'm thinking about it. I still remember that. Then the ref licks my legs and I'm like, what the hell? The body's not moving, just the eyes could see what was happening. Yeah.
So we normally ask our people to come on the podcast if they have a quote that they use or they live by. Do you have anything that's ever stuck in your mind that you've heard someone else say that you think about?
One is this: go one more.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool. He's got it tattooed on him.
You can always go one more, I believe. Go one more email, one more text message, one more phone call if you have to get some shit done, I believe, like in a business, for example. You can always do a little bit more, yeah. We sometimes settle too early, and this is to remind me that you can run for 1K longer. It's always something to do. I think like nothing lasts forever. That would be the one, because at the end of the day, nothing's gonna last forever, no matter what we do in this life. And if you're not in that moment, like I was in that moment when I was competing as a youngster, and then slowly going through the ranks, and then I was building a club. You have to enjoy those things. If you think like you always think about that future goal, you're gonna miss so much of your life being just miserable because you're thinking about something that you never know if you're gonna get. So like nothing. If you think about nothing lasts forever, it's good to have goals, but I think it keeps you grounded. Like, okay, this is where we are now. I'm talking to you guys. This is a good day. I'm gonna grab a coffee. We're gonna go to work, teach some kettlebells. This is now, yeah. And obviously you're pushing for your things in the future, but if you think about nothing lasts forever, you're gonna enjoy today much more. It's a journey at the end of the day. Like you just maybe you get the goal, maybe you don't, maybe you achieve the championship you wanted to know or don't, but at the end of the day you should enjoy the ride, because that's what it is, Mm-hmm. Not everyone's gonna be a world champion. Maybe I won't, I don't know, but I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
Yeah, that's cool.
Especially if it's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Is that where it'll be?
Usually it is in Vegas, yeah. So it's that's Masters, because I'm going to compete in Masters, which is over 30 years old. That's usually in Vegas.
Over 30?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes,
short career then.
So that was one of the reasons why I actually liked Jiu-Jitsu so much, because I was 26 when I found it.
Oh, wow.
So if you think about it, you're quite old for any other sport you want to do. Like, what can you start when you're 26 with just basic physical preparation? And as soon as I did that tournament, remember my coach, like 2 months into training or 3 months into training, he says, like, why don't you go to tournament? And I went there, won 2 fights somehow, I don't know how, because no skills at all. Then one guy beat me up, and I'm like, okay, so this is fun. Like, and I knew, I was driving home, and I was like, I'm gonna do it to the rest of my life because it was so cool. But because there was the age divisions for the guys, so 30, 35, 40, 45. So if you want to test yourself at any age, your belt level, your weight division, you go and you compete with them. Awesome. And that's why Jiu-Jitsu is probably appealing to older people as well. Like, I mean, so older, like over that, 20 years old, even 20 to start sport. Like boxing, you're not going to start sports when you're 20, yeah? It's way too late, yeah.
So all the footballers and rugby players now, they're all 18 to 22,
Yeah.
They're already made it.
Yeah, so that was really appealing to me, that I could actually pursue because I don't want to say I'm an athlete, but I wanted to be kind of like try it out. How's the athlete life looks like, and if you don't have that sport, you're just wandering around, But if you find this one, it's like, all right, there's a goal, there's a weight division, and I want to be there that day and see who's best, And that's why Jiu-Jitsu is so fun as well.
So 35 is Masters 2.
Yeah, so Masters from 35 onwards, Masters 2, yeah. Wow. So I competed in adult until 2013 or 2012, which I was 33 already. I could do Masters before. And after that, the only Masters I did was Europeans. Because I said, like, I don't want to miss the window of me being in a Masters division, but at the same time, like on the local scene in British, I was still winning that I was over 30 and I was winning the adult division. Polish championships is the same. So the regional ones, I was doing like this. Europeans, I said, okay, Europeans and Worlds, I'm going to do Masters, just because I don't want to miss that window, So
you can enter the open over 30 anyway. Oh, okay.
You can be 50 and you can, and there are guys who do that. There are
I thought you actually meant like
start old man. There's like a jacked old man entering like adult division, and young guys are scared of them, because imagine if you lose in front of 2,000 people to the old guy, yeah? At the same time, you want to be nice about it, and you don't want to smash the old guy, yeah? And I've seen the fights like this, and there's like heroes in Jiu-Jitsu, they show up always to the tournaments, like, oh my God, I got this guy, yeah? And he's got all man strength, and he's got Jiu-Jitsu, so you have to, but you cannot go, if you're younger, you cannot go to all the divisions, because that would be cheating, yeah? But the other way around, you can.
That's cool,
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Masters 2, boy.
I'm going to Masters 2, yeah.
Yeah, it goes. Don't worry about it. I mean, when I was competing, I remember I went to the Europeans as a black belt, and in my division there was a guy who Roger fought with in Prime, and he didn't submit him, which is weird, because Roger is so good at submitting people. And I watched DVDs of this guy in 2006, how to fight from that position, this position. And now I'm in the same division with him fighting, which means he's got like 15 years of black belt on me. And I'm like, all right, that's going to be great. I didn't go to him because we didn't meet eventually. But like, you think Masters is easy? Go hang out with that boys, because all of them, they've been for a long time in this, yeah? And also I think it takes a special man. When you're like, older, and you're still doing a young man's sport, like you're still fighting, there's some special toughness into that guy, I believe. Because when you're young, we all I thought I was invincible until my knee gave up, like 30 something. Yeah? I was like, I'm going to go through everything, yeah? And then it's like, oh, my body breaks as well. Oh, I can recover longer now, yeah?
I think that's my problem. My mind is I'm young, but my body's like, no, actually, you're...
Well, don't worry, we'll catch up. It will catch up.
The thing that scares me most of the older guys, especially, even like when I was playing rugby as well, they just do the stuff that gets the job done. Yeah. They're not fucking around.
Yeah.
They're going to choke you if they see the choke, or like in rugby, they're just like, they're just going to tackle you if they do the tackle, and they walk along. All of a sudden, they do something amazing. So they're like, they're playing the game. They're like lulling you in that sense of security, like, come here, come on, and then all of a sudden, they're just going to go, okay, good night.
Yeah.
They just have to be more efficient.
That's it, more efficient. That's the word.
And that comes with experience. I think it's fair in life, like if you think about it, if you would have everything, all that experience from, let's say, 20 years of being a black belt, you know, all those competitions, and then youth and strength. Like, come on, dude, like that's not even fair.
The energy saving.
Yeah, but you get that, and slowly you lose that, you know, vitality. You get injured here and there. You have to play the game a little bit different, but you gain that experience, and you can, I know what's.
And you don't care about showing off either. You're not there for a show. You're there to win now.
Different things become important as well. I think it's fair, you know.
Conserving energy and getting the right holds, like you say. The right choke.
You have to be more economical with what you do.
You're not taking a 50-50 chance. You're taking the 100% chances.
Yeah, like you don't
just wait for it.
Yeah, you don't best out all the time. Like when I was younger, probably I was like going every 30 seconds. I was going crazy. Now you just go harder when you think you got something. Other than that, chilling. What's gonna happen? And come on, there's another round. There's another 1,000 rounds coming in my life. There's no point.
Gives you a bit more chat, doesn't it? When you get a bit older, like I've got you there. You're gonna take me or what?
That's always people are always gonna talk that.
Maybe it's the older ones that do it worst.
That's an ongoing thing.
Is there some good chat on the mat?
Sorry?
What's the best chat on the mat you've ever heard someone say to you, or like in a weigh-in or something? Like, is there anything that sticks out? You just laughed about it and then took him on, or?
Like, you know, usually people are quite respectful in jiu-jitsu.
I was going to say, that's what we were saying the other day with judo, jiu-jitsu. It's not like UFC now. Like UFC's turned into this boxing sort of like, oh wow, you're an idiot. Whereas like, it's still obviously.
You want to promote yourself, You get some guys in jiu-jitsu like that, but obviously not my level of attention. But like, there were moments like, for example, I was fighting and I fought the guy from France, and we finished the fight, and I said, his coach was next to me. He's like, oh, he's got some good sweep or something. I can't remember because he nearly swept me with it. And his coach like, yeah, tomorrow he's going to submit you, because the next day we were meeting in team tournaments. There was like 3 brands of geese that they sponsored us, and like I was in one brand, he was in another one, and we're supposed to clash. I'm like, all right. And so the next day I tapped him out. I'm like, there you go. Yeah, there's your answer. But like, there's little things like that, but usually everyone is super respectful. Even the guys you fought all the time. I mean, the most respect you're going to get to the guy who's hard fight for you, I think, you know, like, because he's like me, you know, he's just done the hard work, you know, and I don't think that's the good thing about jiu-jitsu. It's less of that show business, I would say.
That's what I like about sort of martial arts and that as well. I think sometimes it's what ruins sports, you know. There's too much talking and not enough action. People try to do it just to because I guess it brings attention and money after that. People try to do it. And the nice guys don't get paid as good as the other guys. But you would have to be like all the way on the top. And even then, like, look at Roger. Always very respectful. He was hugging Bruchesha a few days before the fights and laughing with him. And even the last fight they had, you know, like always super respectful, never bad blood. Everyone's going to respect him to the end of his days. That's what I like, you know. Because it's a lot of power if you have, like, for example, skill like that, you know. Whatever skill you acquire, like, okay, you have a jiu-jitsu, I mean, if people know what jiu-jitsu is, this is a lot of power. Like, you can handle a lot, you know, in real life and whatever, You have that mental fortitude. So why would you walk around like a dickhead all the time? It's like, I can do this, I can do that. No, just you know, if my students come to the clubs, like, I want to get, like Adam always tells me, like, I'm going to get you. Like, all right, you're going to get me, And I just tell him what he has to go, which steps he has to get through, which parts of jiu-jitsu he has to master before he gets there. Like, okay, I'm on it. But it was like a few-year plan, Or he might get it next week. I don't know. That's what, like, that's a great thing about, like, if you're still active and you black belt, because some people like don't like to train hard as much as they used to when they got to black belt, and I've seen that before. I prefer it because I don't want to fall off the wagon. I think that's the expression. I want to be in a mix all the time, and eventually the day comes when my guy is going to be better. I've done a good job. I've learned the guys who can be better than me, which is not bad, But until then, I just want to give him hard time, and we tease each other. We talk,
Pass the torch time.
Pass it, like listen. Like I know that day's gonna come. Someday, one day, someone's gonna catch me. One's like, oh, he got me, and then he's gonna slowly figure out how to do it, or maybe I'm gonna slowly start falling back. Eventually, that's gonna be the thing. Not soon. I don't think I'm gonna allow my body to that happen too soon. But it would be stupid to think that's not gonna happen. And as a coach, especially, I'm teaching the best thing I know. So eventually they have to learn that and surpass that. I think that's what's going to happen.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming today, Dom. Really appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
That was cool. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.